live up till I'm on top.
Yo,
yeah.
no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome into Pregaming here on Sports Money. It's Hump Day, Wednesday, August 27th. Hop, skip, and a jump. One more sleep till we officially get into some college football action. Week number 1, spread out like a fine buffet of gambling opportunities here. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, culminating with Monday. We already got a play laid out there for Monday. And I just had that recognition of how much work it is to cap college football. You know, it's nice to start a couple days in advance and try to find a way to keep firing. I'm behind on a video. I got to get a video out there, but it's going to be a lot of fun to get into college football weekend. No UFC show Saturday. We had Dana White Contender Series last night. Hopefully some of you guys checked us out. Fun stuff. We had MMA Jeff, of course, Ramon Scott, Subhuman Gaucho made the appearance as well. And it was chalk. It was fun. It was fun just shooting the shit, watching some fights. Just good stuff. Good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, got a new show coming out tonight. 8 p.m. 8 p.m. this evening. The Betting Throwdown. Get yourselves ready. Get set. It's going to be a lot of fun to go. Going to be live betting. Lots and lots of live betting out there. Breaking down with the new face on Sports Money. Hopefully you guys will enjoy that show. Didn't think I was going to be able to get these graphics and things done today. I was running short on time. Sometimes I just laugh and think about why I was running short on time. Excuse me. My allergy have been acting up. But I'm ready to go. We got ourselves a busy slate. We might have action on just about every game. I'm telling you, I think the dogs are barking tonight. Oh, yeah. We're going to jump into 2 WNBA games. I added one. I wanted to make a lot of WNBA plays, and I had to say, no, listen, there's only 2 games. Slow down. Go attack baseball. And so I will. But we've got action in both the WNBA games tonight. So we'll get to those as well. Yesterday, small profit. Take it. Nothing spectacular. Really nothing spectacular at all. Cleveland won. They shut out Tampa Bay 3-0. Finally got the right side of the streak. Now, Cleveland fucked me today because I was on Tampa. Fuck me. That being said, the under 8 got roasted and toasted like a marshmallow last night. 2-2, 9th inning. 11-2 final. That often that I would say I would make that bet again. In fact, I did make that bet again today and I lost. So, sucks. The Yankees in over. Probably, in hindsight, it should have been the Yankees team total over. I actually learned a little something from that, and I'm going to apply it to future operations. What I learned there is when we see a team supposed to go over, that was the Nationals. Maybe we look at the other side's team total over when it's a spot like the Yankees, because they got their team total. 5-1 final game. The Nats did not do their part. And Toronto with the surprising bludgeoning. Was it surprising? Was it a bad call? Yes, it was a loss. Reality is, it was 4 runs in the top of the 9th inning? That cost the Toronto Blue Jays that win. So, no excuses. Just is what it is. Mets. The identityless Mets. No name Mets. No identity Mets. Came through with a 6-5 win against them. Phils yesterday. Texas Rangers, Patrick Corbin. I was all excited for Patrick Corbin Day. I took it. Took it right in the bottom mouth. Right in the old balloon knot. We fired on that Colorado under 8. That was a winner. We fired on that 11, the over 11 in the Tigers. That was a winner. We said, don't be scared. Those are big numbers for a reason, and they got there. In fact, the Rockies came through and got the outright winner. Was live betting that last night during the Dana White Contender Series. What I tell you guys, there's no reason that no team should be minus 400, let alone the team that just got shut out 4 times in 5 games. And then we pushed the over 9 Dodgers, Cincinnati Reds. Tight little number. Closed at 8.5. So if you waited and got it at start of the game, 8.5, you cashed. 6-3 final. We went 1-0 in the WNBA. With the Indiana Fever. Wrong team favored. Yeah, they were. 20 points was the beatdown for the 3.5-point dog. Closed at 4.5. They won outright by 20. Only in the W. Only in the W. So, you know, kind of got back to the treading water a little bit after a tough Monday. Kind of trying to battle. Just trying to battle. But let's go, you guys. You know what the deal is. We got ourselves an evening of action in front of us. Lots of things going on here tonight. And I'll say it again. I think the dogs are barking tonight. I could really make a case for every single dog on the card today. In fact, let's count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I've got 7 overall dog plays today. That's the kind of day I thought it was going to be. So get ready. If you like plus money, this is the right spot. You guys have gotten to it. Now, if you would kindly do me a favor and smash that thumbs up button for us. Appreciate all the support. You guys being here, rocking and rolling with us. Most importantly, though, while we're in the middle of the show, take a second to hit that thumbs up button. That shows the respect. That shows the appreciation. That tells YouTube we're here making this fucking money. Let's do it. Afternoon-wise, had the under in the Marlins Braves game. Should have just taken the Braves again. That's the worst part about that game yesterday. I was hemming and hawing, Braves under, Braves under, Braves under, Braves under all day. Right up till I did the show. And I was like, nope. Gonna give out the under. 11 runs. And then the Guardians today. Talk about heartbreak. Tampa Bay blows it in the 9th inning. Some of these bullpens are getting taxed as they move through this point of the season. And Tampa Bay might be one of them. Tough series against them Yanks. Now they got them guards. The Yankees do Yankees things. Smacking and cracking that baseball. I'm sitting here holding on to hope. Holding on to hope that 2 things go my way in this case. The first is the under 8 cashes for me in the San Diego game. That would be a nice little gem. Also, Taylor Townsend, hoping that she can hang on for this second set. That first set was something. Ostapenko. That's the revenge spot, by the way. The revenge game, if anybody didn't know. And it's been a couple of years in the making. It was a weird number. She went up to minus 140. Then she went down to minus 125. Then she went back up to minus 140. And let's just take a peek. What is she doing? Oh, yeah. She's busting her up in this set. Don't retire. Ostapenko. Panko breadcrumbs. I didn't fire up a breakfast this morning. I was thinking about that last night. We talked about all that good Cracker Barrel talk. I was this many days old when I realized Sophia, is it Sophie Rain? So I don't even know who the fuck this is. She made $83 million in a year. What the fuck? What the fuck? She's not even that good looking. I mean, she's good looking. Don't get me wrong, but some of you guys are fucked up. OnlyFans. I don't know, Irish King. I don't know. I know that there's going to be a new show tonight. Sean Fox is his name. He'll be coming on at around 8 p.m. I think he's going to have Ramon join him for day number 1. So get ready, guys. Got a new thumbnail out there. The betting throwdown is what it's called. That's how we're going to get paid. Gonna do some live betting tonight. Kind of a weird week because then we've got this college football Thursday, Friday. Pretty big slate too, as it turns out. Pretty large slate. All right, let's go. Let's do it. Let's get this thing going. I'm ready. I hope you guys are ready. Get that pen and paper ready. Speaking of getting ready, got the best damn chat in the business. They're here. They're ready to roll. They're going to share their best bets. I'm going to shout them out. Let's get it moving, you guys. And there's J. May, Nicholas Handy, and Gerald Jones is clocking in, giving us the first best bet of the day. He's got the Red Sox first 5 minus a half, minus 105 for Gerald Jones. Stop Geo's checking in. Thanks for the show. You got it, my dude. 9 Legacy. J. Main says these all plus money O's, Bills, Lauer over 15.5 outs. Vinny P. Vinny Pascantino for the Kansas City Royals. 3 hits, runs, and RBIs. Brian Nelson for the Arizona Diamondbacks under 17.5 outs. And the Rockies alternate over 3.5 team total. I like that play a lot. I like it a lot. Irish King absolutely killed it this afternoon. Need some night bags. Don't retire. Take your beating like a person. Redbeard says 2-6. The Phillies are against the Mets, Mike. Yeah, I mean, it's like, how many times you get, you want to keep thumping down your little brother? No, you just give him a couple. You throw him a couple bones because you feel bad for him. After all, they are Mets. Jay Main says the Astros over minus 300 again. Let's go. DJ Hardy says Blue Jays smash. Stop Geo says shit calls for doggy run. Yeah. Yes, it does. I like it. Irish King says I took Cleveland down 3-2 and 7. Nice job. Nice work there, man. That was you're sweating a little bit on that one, but you got it. David Wallace. Nasty Nate says the Red Sox are going to smash. DJ Hardy says he got it at minus 135. Irish King says, is that Brewers? Oh, no, Boston Red Sox. Duh. First 5 minus a half and team total over. It says who? Oh, DJ Hardy knows who I'm talking about. Ted P says Big Mike Dana White Contender Series is where the money's at. Nicholas Henry says 83. Erroneous on all accounts. We're a week from the NFL. We sure are. Station Play 211's here checking in. Let's go, you guys. Markel, Detroit Derby, perhaps. Station 21 says Ohtani under 5.5 strikeouts plus money. Isn't it Ohtani bobblehead night? Thought I saw that somewhere. Didn't Trent have that out there? It's Immortal Mega Nuke because it's Ohtani bobblehead night or something like that. I like when he says that. I'm ready to go. No, today is not the day for Boston to smash. Let me preface my analysis on that sentiment to kick this thing off. Kick the tires, light the fires, as they say out there. Huge reverse line movement here. Huge. Not even reverse. Just, it should concern you that it hasn't moved. You have 82% of the bets and 87% of the cash. Now, some books had like the overnight line on this thing as high as minus 160. Brian Bayo, fighting. We got here. Gotta get this thing set up. A friend of mine had me doing some shit to help them with their fantasy football today. And I was like, no, everything's all thrown out of whack. Everything's out of whack. Very, very regimented. Bottom of the seventh, 4-2. Okay. So 150s, even 160s, all that money coming in, it's coming down. Down. Brian Bayo will get the bump, as I mentioned out there, with a 3.07 ERA, but he's on the road, and he's coming off of a pretty decent inning, or a pretty decent outing, I'll say that. This is where I like this under factor, first and foremost. He gives you some innings. I mean, arguably one of the best guys they got. In any event, he did shut out the Yankees at Yankees, by the way. 7 innings, 3 hits allowed. Gave up 5 runs against San Diego. Gave up 2 runs against Miami. And then came out with that squeaky clean little 0. Dietrich Eanes will be the opener for this Baltimore Orioles team. And look, this guy just came off of a tough outing against the Houston Astros. But look, he's only going to give you so many innings. It's really irrelevant to kind of, other than the fact that he's a lefty and he's going to be starting, which means one of the 4 times through the order, probably going to see this Boston team get shut down. And look, Baltimore, after a division loss, they're perfect 10-0 to the under. Found themselves in that position. Oh, don't do it, Ostapenko. What are you doing? You going to try to come back now? Don't do it. Don't you do it. So this is one of those real money on the line moments. Real money on the line moments, not play money. Sometimes you got to just shut it down and get your cash. Just want to make sure I get my cash. That's what I want to make sure of. Okay, my fault. My apologies. Reverse line movement, opening situation, multiple pitchers going to be faced up there to use up on this Boston Red Sox team, and I just don't want to get behind these Red Sox. Again, sharp respected betting coming in here today on the under. The under made the sharp respected betting action, and I think this reverse line movement's an issue. Now, that being said, with all fairness, the reason I added Baltimore and start this thing off with this 2-leg parlay is because it's a nice score. I think that you got this uncertainty with this Boston side of things because they're going to face 3 or 4 different pitchers. So that means each time a batter gets to swing, he's more than likely going to be facing a different trajectory, rate, angle, and spin from the ball. And I think that makes it very difficult, is why I'm willing to take a shot with the plus money when we don't see all that movement on the Baltimore O side of things. No question the Red Sox have been smashing. We see it. You don't have to be a genius to see that, especially against a paltry Baltimore Orioles team here. But I don't know, series sweep on the line. Lots of things to factor in. I just don't see tonight being the night that they smash. I think we got ourselves a nice, pretty plus money payday to start off, almost a little over 3-1. The return on that investment. Now, Nasty Nate thinks it's a Red Sox trifecta. Going to a Gaga concert tonight, huh, Barry? Gonna be, what are they called? Aren't they called the Monsters? Isn't there a fan club called the Monsters? Nicholas Haney says he's on the Red Sox first 5 in full game. Well, think of me when this game finishes 4-1 and Baltimore picks up the dub. And you'll find me back here tomorrow to talk about that spot, whether I was right or wrong. But we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the next game in the calendar here, and kind of a big skip. I don't want any part of this Toronto Blue Jays team after they fucking imploded yesterday. I certainly am not taking the Twins in that spot. I mean, that was just such a perfect fit with the fading of the pitcher and the playing of the pitcher, and it's like Tommy Boy. Ooh, I killed it. That's what I felt like with that spot. And the Phillies and Mets, I struggle with this one because it should be an under. Should be Taijuan Walker. I can't do it. I feel like for me with that, sometimes when I look at these series, like I took the loss in that first day. Phillies were up and then they got smoked. You guys are talking about the Mets record out there. Yeah, this is just, I was happy to even up the series. 1-1 in the series. By the way, some other numbers for the over-unders. I skipped right over them here, but with this under, it's not just the Baltimore side of things that has the under. The Sox, perfect 8-0. After a win against a divisional opponent, if they walked less than 4 times. Averaging 4.1 runs a clip in those spots out there. Kind of glazed over that one a little bit to get this show moving on the road, but you guys know the deal. You saw where I was at with this one. How about this? I know it's Quinn Priester, and I know Quinn Priester's been on fire. You know my position with the Diamondbacks. I'm sorry, with the Brewers. This team has been overachieving, and they're going to trot out there Aaron Ashby. I'm sorry, I said Quinn Priester. Aaron Ashby, the lefty. Ryan Nelson, the righty, going to start for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And that's where I think the pitching edge lies. You know, we were talking earlier today about some bullpen implosions. For me, the challenge that I came across was just that. Some of these bullpens are stretched and gassed, and we know the Diamondbacks sold a bunch of parts at the deadline, so they're kind of in that seller's mode, and maybe this season just needs to get over with for them so that they can plan their offseason vacations or whatever the case may be. They're facing the sweep. They're down 0-2 in this series. They've lost 3 in a row, the Diamondbacks. And when I look at this Brewers team, I see 9 runs and 7 runs. Look, for me, it's the first 5 play. I'll take the half. I think at the very least, this is one of those spots where these two teams, the pitching matchup, I mean, what are you going to do? It's Aaron Ashby. He's got a 2.09 ERA. Is he a 2.09 ERA guy? I don't know. He's at home. His last start, he went 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 homer. He's gotten the second in a row, is what it comes down to. Last start, spot start against none other than these Diamondbacks. And you know I'm a zigzag guy. So we started off, if they won the last game and they haven't seen another team in between them, then this is an opportunity for, I think, the Diamondbacks to go back and get right spot here. The quick revenge and the pitching matchup out there should be an opportunity here. Ryan Nelson, what do we know about this guy? I mean, he's not having one of the finest seasons on the year. His last start, he went 6 innings, so that's something I like to see. These guys going deep. They're used to it this time of the year. He's gone into the 6th, into the 6th, into the 6th, into the 6th, into the 7th, and the 6th inning as well. So I think we can count on. I think we know what we're going to get with Ryan Nelson. Is probably the way I'm trying to describe that. I guess I'm at a loss of words here. Nelson's got himself a 7-0 spot tonight as well. If he got 4 or more strikes as a favorite his previous game, and he finds himself in the dog roll, he's a perfect 7-0. I think that we can at the very least see tied, maybe 2-2. So, yeah, Ramon says, does every team have a pitching change tonight? I was noticing some pitching changes. And now Eric Fetty's going to be the primary in the Brewers game? Strange. Wonder why they're doing that. Wonder what's going on that I'm not privy to. I'll tell you what I'm privy to. Firing bombs. I'm going to take this. I'm firing away. I'm moving in. Kind of like the White Sox against the Royals. Can't get there. Kind of like the Diamondbacks to win that game outright. Just going to keep it first 5, though, because I don't know what's happening with these bullpens here. And I just chucked it up twice earlier today. So I'm not feeling good about those positions. I want to shorten that spot with the shit team like the Diamondbacks. The Pirates game, though, here we go. Another reverse line movement. 73% of the bets, 71% of the cash. Firing in on the Cardinals. I talked yesterday about how the Astros were not the spot. With those 4 shutouts or 5. The Cardinals couldn't be any more inconsistent. What team are you going to get? And yet you have the respected betting action coming in saying the sharp chasers are banging away on these Pirates. I almost said Steelers. 7.5 is the total. Juice to the under. 96% of the bets, 96% of the cash are on the over. Sonny Gray. Mlodzinski will start on the other side of things for the Pirates. And we know that we've been talking about some of these fade Sonny Gray trends. Now, to me, this is one of those spots where it's like, okay, I see the sharp respected better report coming through saying this is a Pirate spot. Then I see Sonny Gray and I see a low total with all that money coming in on the over. And so they're going back to the well. They're saying this is going to be a lower scoring game. They're putting a 7.5 on it. Be inclined to take the under. But at plus 150, it's juicy enough on the Pirate side of things. At least in my estimation here, it's juicy enough that I can get behind him. I can feel pretty good about just taking this price tag and saying, hey, give it to me. Carmen Mlodzinski last goes out there and, again, 2 innings. Kind of just a little spot start out there. But, on the other side of things, when you're looking at Sonny Gray, this is where, 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, and a homer his last start with a walk sprinkled in there. Is it that point of the season now where Sonny Gray just lower scoring spot, potentially gives up runs, challenging situation, last 5 starts, 3 runs, 1 run, 6 runs, 3 runs, gave it up 9 runs in his last 2 starts, Tampa Bay and the Yankees. But I think this guy's got the rubber band arm. I think that in itself is going to be a challenge for him because, look, the Pirates only need to scratch 2 or 3 across the plate, I think, at a 3-1 type of finish to be able to justify this dog price and dog opportunity for the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're 9-0, by the way. If the total's less than a 9, they got 5 or more runs and left 4 or more runners on base. Think about it. What's that tell you? Tells you that they're hitting the ball. They got 5 or more runs and they left 4 dudes on base. They're smacking the ball. On the same side, the Cardinals, 0-10. Struck out 6 or more times as a favorite the previous game. In other words, they are not showing good plate discipline. It's not just that they're losing. They're losing by over 3 runs a game. 3.3 runs on average in that sample of 10. Plenty of spots, plenty of reason, lots of justification to jump in here and take this Pittsburgh Pirates team. See if we can't get a score. Oh, Ostapenko she got her panties in a bunch, huh? You have no class and no education, huh? Well, I cashed with Townsend. Hammers. Cardinals players throwing bats at their coaches too. There you go. Kind of validates it, doesn't it? Kind of justifies those trends there when you can make sense of it. And it's not like some of that, if you got to go 6, 7 layers deep, I always say that's where trends kind of get in trouble. But when it's as simple as saying this team's batting and they're scoring and they're winning, and this team's not batting and they're not showing plate discipline and they're losing, like it's sometimes that simple. And yet we're going to get a plus 150-ish price tag on those boys and girls. Boys, no girls. Here's a series. Here's a spot. Here's a game. I'm going to have some money I'm going to have a little sprinkle on that money line as well. The official play I'm going to lay is this run line factor, and I'm going to tell you why. We've got 92% of the bets and 97% of the cash on the Astros. We saw this yesterday. It's almost identical. Lines come down a little bit, I guess. 300. 300. You got to win 4 games in a row now. At least 4 games in a row now. Just to make back the money that you lost betting on the Astros yesterday, if you bet on them. And it was ridiculous because there's nothing in the world with their current position and form that suggested it. And what's changed today? The under's still a really good look. The under 8, 97% of the bets, 99% of the cash are on the over. Yeah. The under is very much, I think, a spot you got to consider. And if you want to get cute and parlay, then slap together the Rockies. You could even do 2.5. Here's the thing. I guess it's 2 things that it comes down to. There's 2 spots that you have to consider with this play. First of all, The Astros on the run line against non-divisional favorites. Their starting pitchers coming in off a loss as a favorite. The Astros are 3-27 on the run line. They're not generating enough offense. They're 10-30 straight up, by the way, in that same position. So probably a good spot to think about that money line on them Colorado Rockies. Like I said, I like the under. It's pretty much the same trend as yesterday when it comes to this under. Where did I put it? The Astros, 8-0 to the under. If they lost by 4 or more runs the previous game, and they're a favorite. So that goes back to what I was talking about there, where it's like, all right, if the Astros games are generating unders, it's very similar to the situation with that Pirates game. If it's going to be a lower scoring game, we only need to scratch a couple runs. Why can't we get 3, win another 3-1 type of situation, or 5 or 6-1 as they did last night? Made me sweat the under last night. So I'm not going to move in the under here today. I'm going to take the plus money shot with the run line. Again, 10-30. I get it. Validation justifies. 1-0 Boston. The Red Sox are going to smash. Zope says I might have to lay some burger money down on a 4-legger underdog money line parlay. Woof, woof. And Irish King likes the Houston first 5 -1.5. Wow. Well, Nancy Nate says always. So that's it. I got the Rockies. We're going to keep it moving. Brisk pace this thing up. Like I said, 10-30 in that sample as well. Starting pitcher off the loss as a favorite. Non-divisional situation as a favorite. I think that just comes down to the fact that you haven't seen the pitchers enough or the hitters enough. And it kind of creates a true blend. It's a true blended average, meaning non-divisional, your pitchers haven't seen their batters and your batters haven't seen their pitchers. It kind of neutralizes the playing field. And if you get a guy like Fromber, why not take a shot? Take a shot and fade this guy. Fucking sweatiest man on the bump. Framber Valdez. Peter Gracia says, socks. The Roman Empire has arrived. Well, that hurts both the, well, that's why I like the parlay. Because if I'm going to take Baltimore and risk the under, I want to slap those two together. It's the first play of the night. Okay. Is it Ohtani bobblehead night? That be the question. I'm not sure. Can anybody tell me? Bobbleheads don't matter. What I'm looking at in this game here is I'm looking at the under. We've been pretty dialed into this series. We had the under. Well, we had the parlay, but the under cashed. Then we had the over. The over pushed, but if you got that 8.5, it was, and they're going right back to an 8.5 again. Overall, this line opened at -205 in the Dodgers. Now -188. 82% of the bets, 56% of the cash are on the Dodgers, Los Doyers. But look at this total. 8.5s. Now some 8s. Now some 7.5s. And 93% of the bets and 92% of the cash are on the over. Look, it's Lodolo and Ohtani. How many innings will Ohtani pitch? Time will tell, I guess. But ultimately, this is one of those spots where it's like, this is just, I like the first 5 too, but I just wanted to keep this to the full game. I know I talked a little bit earlier, tongue in cheek, about the bullpens and potential implosion spots here, but between these breakdowns or between this game here, this one just has just a ton of undertrends. First of all, if you're thinking the Dodgers are going to win in this spot, it's not a good Dodgers spot. And this is what I like the most. The blown load theory comes into play. They're 0-9 after a game they got double-digit hits. Very uncharacteristic of the Dodgers to have such a talented offense, but not be able to sustain. And that's what you look at their record this year. Now I know they've been out there in no man's land in the NL West cleaning up on people, but nonetheless, this just tells that there's a situation where they've blown their load. They've hit too many balls and they don't carry it back the following game. Maybe that's why the Reds are in play. But the Reds are 10-0 to the under in non-divisional series closing games. They're 13-0 in closing series games against righties. Not just that they're unders, they're under with an average of 6 as the runs being scored out there. And Lodolo puts himself in an under territory. 7-0 to the under. If he's a dog, his last time out, 5.2 runs on average. Lodolo's a dog. He's got that dog in him. And he satisfies all those criteria out there for an under 8.5 in this Dodgers game. I lean to the Reds. Sophie says, yes, sir, it is bobblehead. Okay. Uh-oh. Is it a weird start time? I didn't even notice. It is a weird start time, huh? What's that all about? That's a great point. You know what? Put another check in the box for an under. Because when you start seeing these early squirrely start times, yeah, that changes up the rhythm and the routine for these players in itself. That's a weird start time. Wonder what's going on. Is it because of the bobblehead? Is it because of Ohtani's bobblehead? They say, Ohtani, what time you want to start? Yeah. 3-4. It's crazy. Weird. All right. Cubs and Giants. Let me regale you with a story of how a pitcher, this is when you know a trend's in trouble. I said to you yesterday, I was driving around and I was listening to some stuff and I kept hearing Verlander numbers. Verlander stinks. The team can't score with the guy. And then what happens? The Giants come out and they get the W out there. Unfucking believable. 5-2 on top of it. Stayed under. Congrats to any of you under bettors, but once you start hearing everybody talk about it, that's why this little trust tree that we have here is so special. Because very rarely is anybody talking about the trends that we're throwing out there. Ramon Scott says, to be fair, there are 4 Ohtani bobblehead nights this season. It's a good point. It's a good point, Ramon. They get bobblehead night even when he was out on IL. But as I was looking at this Giants game and I'm thinking about this spot, this is another one of those instances where I don't want bullpens to get involved because I do think the edge, especially if you're in a situation where you lose that game yesterday as the Cubs 5-2. It wasn't close. You're not chasing it down. You just got gapped, right? You lose by 3 or 4 runs. I think the psyche changes. And so the pieces that you're utilizing in these games kind of change up the way they go about it, right? So if you're chasing down the lead or you need this win, you're going to be rotating the shit out of your pitching staff in there, and you're going to be using your best pieces. You're not going to save anything for later because you got to go claim that W. And so I looked at this one and I thought, as I broke this game down, Jesus, where's the advantage? Well, the advantage to me is the pitching matchup, and more specifically, the pitchers versus batters. So let's take the bullpen out of the equation because we don't want to see these guys get nuked. And we look at this thing and we see a plus money spot. I'm trying to pull up my, there it is. I was going to regale you guys with some numbers, some data to factually validate what I'm sharing with you here. So, I'm not full of shit. And Carson Whisenhunt never faced a batter on the Chicago Cubs side of things. He's a lefty. 2 things I think give an advantage. Colin Ray, on the other hand, has gotten busted up by almost every single guy on the Chicago Cubs side of the ball. Helio Ramos, 500. Rafael Devers, 500. Willie Adames, 333. Dominic Smith, 333. Matt Chapman, 600. Young Ho Lee, 333. And then there's 3 guys that have never seen him. I'll take a shot. I think these guys, I've told you before, I think things happen in bunches. They'll win or they'll lose in bunches. Now, I took the Arizona plus a half. I want this one on the money line. And the reason being is that you've got Ray. He's 8-0 to the over in road starts if he gave up 2 or more hits his last start. So without the confines and comfort of setting up the pitch the way he wants it with the grounds crew when he's at home, going on the road in hostile territory, he got exposed and gave up a couple of hits in his most recent start. And it shows that just continues and generates scores. Those hits turn to runs. Those runs turn to wins. And that's why I'm taking San Francisco on the first 5 money line. What do you think? So faces, all these dogs could. I told you, I literally thought that every single dog across the card today. The only one I wouldn't want to fuck around with in the dog spot, I don't know, even the Angels. But Jacob Latz, the lefty, can cause some trouble in that squad. So not going to mess with that one. But let's go. I got one more. Surprise, surprise. And then I've got 2 WNBA games for you guys. We'll talk a little dub. And then I got to get moving. I got some things I got to do tonight, this evening. But I'm going back at it. Hot dogging. I'm either going to have a really great night or a really bad night. I don't see well, you know what? Even with all these dogs, if it ends up being a split on the night, well, it would suck, but we'd still be generating profit because we got all these plus money spots. And here we go again. 74% of the bets, 85% of the cash on the Tigers. Line's not moving. 10.5s with 88% of the bets and 85% of the cash on the over. Line's not moving. Morales and Mize. Slight pitching edge. Well, experience will tell you it's Mize, right? You look at his numbers, you look at what he's done, and you see that 3.68 with a 12-4 record, and you say, holy cow, this guy's on fire. But, we always want to dig in a little bit deeper. This guy might be the luckiest fucking pitcher in Major League. First of all, Patrick Corbin's the luckiest pitcher in baseball. Let me stop. Maybe Ohtani, because he was able to scapegoat his gambling issue with his fucking interpreter. That might be a separate kind of luck. Patrick Corbin making $200 million in his Major League Baseball career is fucking luck in itself. But this dude's gotten like 50 runs of support in his last 5 games. It's amazing. Because when you look at it, he's got a 1, a 3, a 2, a 4, and a 3. No strikeouts his last game. Amazing. It's astonishing that he's been able to somehow pick up all the wins that he's been picking up. It makes 0 sense. Then you look on the other side of things and you've got Louis Morales. And, look, Louis, last start, 6 innings pitched. He gave up only 2 hits, 1 home run. Ball just got away from him a little bit. They lost that game. That was at Seattle. But he's stacked up some wins. He's got himself 3 wins in a row as well. So, look, take a shot with the kid. The price tag makes sense. We know that we're in a position where there's Mize, overs, 7-0 to the over when he's a favorite. Because he lets up a shit ton of runs. And this, to me, is that intersection point. You're overachieving any reasonable, rational standard. At some point, the levee breaks, right? You can't keep giving up runs and having your team put up 10 offensive runs around you. Now, maybe they can do that again here against Morales. I'm willing to bet they don't. By the way, this one kind of goes into it. If you fade, so when I talk about where do things kind of break off? If you're the starting pitcher, you won 3 straight games with non-quality starts. Fading you after that position is profitable. It's up like 21 units on the season. So think about that. Everything I just talked about in terms of at some point, the horseshoe falls out of your ass. And then you just get busted open. And so if he's going to go out there and give up runs, I think the Oakland Athletics or the Nomad Athletics of the team to be able to go out there and capitalize. And it's a great price tag. So we take it. We run with it. I think, again, a case to be made. I'm very, very, very dialed in, I feel like, tonight with these dogs. We'll see what happens there. Shout out to Scott Blaster. He agrees. The Scumbag play of the day. Checking in, my man, Skunt Blaster. And he's got the A's. He likes the A's as well. He says plus 110. Yep, Zofe says that's exactly what the public will see. See, that's how we put it all together, and we start thinking when they make these lines, they're making them because they want to fool the public. And they're looking at it going, hey, you like these Tigers? They lost. There's no way they get swept. Phil the Kill says that A's game last night was fun to watch. He likes watching them play in the little parks. Yeah. It was especially fun knowing that we had the over. Let's go. Yep. Hill faces the regression monsters waiting under his bed. I agree. Dude, it's not like you want to say he's due. Like, you don't want to bet on somebody being due to bust out of a slump. But I'll factor in a dude's due to regress because he's just overachieving any expectation of anybody, any pundit or anybody that's out there. So that's the case. I did add a WNBA game. So let's talk a little bit about this Vegas Aces Atlanta Dream spot. Now, I told you guys last week, for me with the Atlanta Dream, look, we're at the tail end of reverse line movement here, or we're at the tail end of the movement. -1s moved to 3.5. The Sharp Respected betting report came through in the WNBA, and they said specifically one thing. They want the Aces. They think potentially the wrong team is favored. I don't know if I can go that far. We talked about the Aces, and what do I like about the Aces? Kind of like they're not being priced appropriately because they don't talk about a team that doesn't have an identity, that you win back-to-back championships, then you can't cover a fucking spread, and then you start going on a winning streak, and all you're doing is tearing teams up. Same thing can be said for the Atlanta Dream, though. 4 straight covers for the Atlanta Dream. And now they move this line from Vegas Aces as a -1 all the way up to 4.5s. I went with the first half. I'll take the 2.5. There's a little uncertainty with some of the tail end of this game. What do I mean by the uncertainty with the tail end? Well, we have some intersecting zeros. The Dream are 8-0 against the spread when they're a favorite in a revenge game. Now, the problem I have with that is they started off as a dog. So they moved to a favorite because of, I think, the public just steaming the shit out of them, despite the fact that sharp bettors came in there and said, fuck it, give me the Aces. But the Aces are 0-8 after a spread loss, but a win, but a non-cover. And that's the books not sure how to index these Aces. The Dream are 8-0 to the under in their last 8 games. They start slow. I expect them to start slow, and that's why I wanted to just break this down to the first half. Give me the 2.5 points for the Aces to get this thing kicked off in the right direction. Then the other side of things is the Sun and Wings game. Sun open up as a 2-point dog. Just 1 point of movement. Cross to 0 in some cases. You can still get a plus. This kind of all over. You can get a -1. You can get anywhere from a -1.5 to a +1.5. So it's kind of ping-ponging that region of it's a pick'em. Let's just call it a pick'em. And the Sun cover spreads. They're 12-0 if they've got rest and a total less than 169.5. Who are the Dallas Wings? Well, the Dallas Wings are 0-11. We're in the dog roll of less than 5.5 points. They're also going over 9 straight overs at home versus a team whose game was decided by 4 points or less the previous outing out there. So the Dream to the under with some of the uncertainty of the Aces gave me the first half there. But seeing that the over is in play with the Dallas Wings and the rested team in the Connecticut Sun are a perfect 12-0 in those spots, I'm going to take the Sun on the money line. Actually, I'm sorry. I took the Sun plus 1.5, -110. I'm okay if you can only get the money line. Look to live bet. These live betting numbers have changed by 20, 25 points. It's been crazy. Elliot Jameson. Get your bets in for tomorrow night. I'll be there. ECU, NC State. ECU's plus 385. Go ahead. Get your bets in ECU before it drops. Go Pirates. My Pirates got the football game around. Wow. All right. I'll buy it. I'll buy what you're selling. Little ECU, the Pirates. Go Pirates. Shout out to all you guys rocking with us here tonight, man. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Get that action in. Think about joining the Win Club. Winnable's been firing. That's our method of delivery and showing support to your sports money crew. You guys know we're not big business. We're just here grinding, working with you guys diligently on a daily basis. And if you want to think about picking up a package to say thanks, check it out. I know right now the NFL 25's got about 4 days left. Essentially, you buy 4, you get 2 free months. Lowest prices in the industry. We won't be beaten. Not by the books and not by any of these other pick services out there. Consider checking out Win. It's your boy, Mikey Money. I'm inviting you to join the Sports Money crew on Winnable. Get all of our premium best bet selections.
For a low monthly cost, you get the very best bets delivered instantly to your phone by text the moment they're locked in. No delays, no missed lines, just the smartest plays at the best odds.
We do the work, you get the plays sent straight to your phone right when you need them.